his iTouch now, he can regularly set up himself with his projects so he knows what he's doing each day and put his tests in society right away. All of the students have become increasingly independent. Their schedules are on there, and with that, their self-esteem has just skyrocketed. The iTouch is surprisingly a very social tool in that there's tons of applications that can be shared, and the students can play against each other and compete against each other and even share their work.
And the iPod Touch, of course, can be used anywhere, anytime. So now let's meet Matthew.
What Matthew does is he takes his work from one.
Railroad, traffic train travels on.
So we've worked with Matthew since grade primary, and he's now 21 years old. And we've supported the family, various school teams over the years with a whole lot of different assistive technologies, trainings and placement of that assistive technology. He is currently working out of his house. He has a small bakery business. He uses software including Internet, PowerPoint, Word, print software, Draft Builder, which he's just recently moved away from, picture-based software, digital camera, etc. As you saw, he accesses the regular keyboard through direct selection with primarily one hand, and he does this extremely efficiently. His mouse use is also excellent, and he is able to use all the computer efficiently with accessing the QWERTY keyboard. He's now a young adult, as I mentioned, living at home, involved in a number of community-based activities. Matthew's team is, Matthew, his family, and support workers is involved in a small home baking business. And at the time of the assistive technology assessment, which we completed, Matthew required updated task-focused software and recommendations and assistive technology devices to support his home-based program and work-related goals. At the same time, we expected any recommendations would contribute to continuing to support the enhancement of social as well as other work skills. So Matthew loves his computer, and he loves the iPod Touch. He enjoys baking, board games, and gardening. He's terrified of dogs and struggles with OCD. The iPod Touch has been a tremendous benefit to Matthew in the area of list generation. His mom will explain that later, which was historically his lists were typed out on the computer, retyped, typed again, printed each time to perfection. If there was any errors, he'd have to start all over again, correct, and print them out as, in multiple copies. So according to Mom, Margaret, in looking back over the last year, I don't know where we would be without the iPod Touch. So specific goals of the AT assessment, which we completed, was to reduce Matthew's paper-driven tasks. They were actually driving the family. To enhance his organization and scheduling skills and support community-based work-related activities like selling his baked goods at the market, and specifically how to respond to clients and when. And that would be using visual prompts on a handheld device of some kind. The next few slides are pictures of Matthew using his iPod Touch in various locations, and each slide has a descriptor from his mom. And we might need to turn the sound up a little bit for these.
Matthew was highly dependent on lists and schedules because he was creating reams of paper top computer daily, sometimes multiple copies, outlining every aspect of his day, perfecting it as the schedule changed. We contacted Barb Welsford from the Assistive Technology Center in hopes of identifying a solution. The iPod Touch was recommended, and we have had great success with it. independently inputs his schedule each day on a simple note screen and is able to make changes on the spot as the day passes. He also sometimes takes a scheduled item and breaks it down further as the need arises. For example, he was at the church penny auction, and when we gave him an envelope of tickets, he went to his iPod Touch and added into the schedule, opened the envelope, put the tickets in the container. His daily meal plan is very important to him. He charts his weekly menu on the laptop, but does his daily meal plan on the iPod Touch. When we are at a restaurant, he records his choice on the iPod as soon as he gives the waitress his order. He makes the master shopping list at home, with the ability to add to it and mark it off on the grocery outing. He lists what we will buy at Sobeys, Superstore, etc. We no longer have to wait while Matthew checks off a paper schedule. He often used the upright beams in the grocery aisle as a clipboard, and his pen would never work, being held up in the air. The iPod Touch has relieved so much frustration. For years, we tried to teach time and encourage the wearing of a wristwatch, the latter with no success. Matthew now checks the time frequently on his iPod Touch and advises us when it's time to do things. We use the iPod Touch to assist with problem solving by inputting choices for Matthew to use when solving a problem. As well, decision-making about the simplest thing, like what he will get for a treat at the store, is difficult for him. So we give him a list of possible selections on the iPod Touch, and he chooses from there. There is so much more I know the iPod Touch can do for Matthew. We look forward to pursuing lots more options in the future to provide supports for him. Thank you, Barb.
So Matthew uses very specific apps. In fact, if you put a new app on his iPod Touch, he will delete it. He likes to be in control. He utilizes Notepad primarily for his list making and editing on the go, deleting it when the task or the list has been completed. He also is using the clock to tell time and indicate the time to respond to the schedule with his mom and his support workers. And he's starting to use the iCalendar to write a journal. Proposed apps for Matthew include Balance, a basic free accounting app where you simply input the credits and the debits and it offers you a balance. Matthew would also potentially benefit from the Maps app because he likes to know where he's been and where he's going. And he also really enjoys videos for relaxation. Margaret mentions that the only difficulty they're having with the iPod Touch with Matthew is that he won't go to sleep until he feels he's finished using it for the day. So let's now move to the project with students with learning disabilities. This is Kathy Croft.
Hello, I'm Kathy Croft, Severe Learning Disability Specialist with Socia Regional School Board. Barb and I entered into a project on assistive technology using the iPod Touches. Our goal was to increase productivity and independence for students with dysgraphia. There were a few challenges that we faced along the way, and despite predicting those and trying to get in front of them, we did have some technology issues, mainly wireless access and getting past firewalls in our schools. There was some resistance by some teachers simply because of the freedom of having the technology and that worldwide access in their class, and there were concerns about control. The rewards are many, no question, but one particular student stands out in my mind. He's a very bright grade 8 student who just cannot get words on paper. He now has an iTouch with Drag and Dictate, which is a very economical way to access speech-to-text software.
The iPod Touch project for reluctant writers involved the identification of 10 students who are clearly reluctant writers. 9 were in junior high and receiving SLD support, severe learning disability support. 1 was in grade 10 and diagnosed with dysgraphia, receiving indirect support. 10 iPod Touches were purchased and loaded with various apps, including Sideways for thumb input, Simple Minds Express, which is mind mapping, and list-making apps, and a few free games. Caleb is currently in grade 8. He's the one Kathy was referring to. A recent assessment indicated LD, as she mentioned, in written expression and working memory. the assessor recommended a speech to text, and Caleb received the Dragon Dictate app and the iPod Touch at the end of April. And he's currently, he's taken off with it and displaying excellent results. And his teachers are thrilled. Here's a little demonstration of Dragon. No training required. Today we are demonstrating Dragon Naturally Speaking for the iPhone and the iPod Touch. So yeah, it works pretty well. I am going to talk about some of the issues we did face with some of these apps in a little while. Anyway, the students, the general consensus from the students in the project was that they loved them, if not always for schoolwork. This project provided an opportunity as well for the SLD specialist to demonstrate a different type of support for students facing learning challenges. And she would often hear kids in the hallway saying, "There goes the lady with the iPod Touches." So she got a good rap on that one. Other apps loaded later included in this project included Speak It Dictionary and Files Lite, which gave the students the ability to upload Word, Excel, and PDF files. They used fraction reduction gizmo and some flashcards for studying. Word predictions apps like ZenTap support students with spelling difficulties, and there are many math apps as well that are worth looking at, providing supports for addition, subtraction, algebra, etc.
We have a few people using the iPod Touch for various activities, various things in and out of the classroom. For example, there's a couple of students using the Dragon Dictate app in the classroom, so they will complete assignments, tests, and whatnot using Dragon Dictate and then email it to their teachers. We have a student with autism using the iPod Touch for self-regulation, so for listening to relaxation music and sounds. We're also doing some video projects with her on the iPod Touch. We are also using the iPod Touch with a young lady with Williams syndrome, and she uses it mainly one-on-one to help develop her literacy skills, so sound letter association mostly. And we use various apps, various phonics apps that are very engaging, lots of colors, hands-on, and she really, really enjoys them and chooses them during Up to Me time.
So let's meet Amelia. Amelia is in grade 5. She's a student at Bayview Community School in Mahone Bay. She's an energetic, friendly, and very smart young lady. Amelia loves Pink, her dog D4, and having friends for a sleepover on the weekends. And she loves to play outside with her dad and swing from her tree in the backyard. Amelia is an emergent reader and writer. She enjoys and benefits from the use of the computer. We use a variety of AT with her, Clicker 5, Raz Kids, WordMaker software, and much more. Amelia is nonverbal, and she communicates quite efficiently with her iPod Touch and Proloquo to Go, as well with sign and verbalization and gesture. And she is fully integrated in the grade 5 classroom. She also uses her iPod Touch to watch video, engage with other students using various games, which increases her communication opportunities. She uses it during leisure time, using Shape Builder, Tumble Books, and Tic-Tac-Toe apps. And the next slide is Jennifer Graveline, and she's the speech-language pathologist who works with Amelia.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Graveline, and I'm a speech-language pathologist with the South Shore Regional School Board. I work with Amelia, who we are using a form of augmentative and alternative communication, the Proloquo to Go, on her iPod Touch. She uses this device on her iPod Touch to help her communicate for many different purposes.